What if the sun going down was the single most terrifying event in an ancient human's entire day? Let that sink in. Not a storm, not a predator sighting, just darkness, arriving right on schedule every single day, whether anyone was ready for it or not. Think about this. Modern humans flip a switch and darkness disappears. Ancient humans had no such option. When the sun set, their entire sensory world collapsed. Vision, the sense they relied on most, became almost useless. So why did night terrify ancient humans so deeply? The answer isn't superstition. It's biology colliding with a brutal reality. Number 1. Predators hunted at night. Let that sink in. Many of the most dangerous animals ancient humans faced. Cave lions, large cats, wolves, had far better night vision than humans ever could. Think about this. During the day, humans could see danger coming, read body language, judge distance, react in time. At night, that advantage disappeared completely. A predator could be 10 feet away in total silence, and a human would have no idea until it was far too late. Let that sink in. Night didn't just reduce visibility. It reversed the entire balance of power between humans and predators. But wait, it wasn't only about predators actively hunting, it was about vulnerability itself. Think about this. Sleep is one of the most defenseless states a human can be in. Muscles relaxed, awareness reduced, reaction time slowed dramatically. For ancient humans, closing their eyes at night meant trusting that nothing dangerous would find them before morning. Let that sink in. This is likely one of the reasons early humans developed the practice of taking turns staying awake. Someone always watching, someone always listening. Because sleeping fully unguarded was one of the riskiest decisions a group could make. Number 2. Temperature dropped sharply at night. Think about this. Without the sun's warmth, nighttime temperatures could fall dramatically, even in regions that felt comfortable during the day. For humans without thick fur, without insulated shelter, night wasn't just dark. It was cold in a way that could become genuinely dangerous. Let that sink in. Fire wasn't just useful at night. It was often the difference between survival and hypothermia. But wait, fire came with its own risk. Light attracted attention, both from other humans and from curious or aggressive animals. Think about this. Every fire built at night was a calculated risk. Warmth and protection on one side, visibility and exposure on the other. There was no perfectly safe choice. Only the least dangerous option available. Number 3. Sound became terrifying without sight to explain it. Let that sink in. During the day, an unfamiliar noise could usually be traced to its source. A bird, a falling branch, an animal moving through brush. At night, that same sound carried none of that context. Think about this. The human brain, deprived of visual confirmation, tends to assume the worst possible explanation for an unknown sound. Not because ancient humans were irrational, but because assuming danger and being wrong was far safer than assuming safety and being wrong. Let that sink in. This instinct, sometimes mocked today as unnecessary anxiety, was once a finely tuned survival mechanism. But wait, there's a psychological layer to this fear that goes even deeper. Number 4. Night removed the group's ability to fully protect itself. Think about this. During the day, a tribe could see approaching danger from a distance, coordinate a response, prepare defenses. At night, that early warning system essentially disappeared. Let that sink in. An entire group, no matter how strong or skilled during daylight, became significantly more vulnerable the moment true darkness set in. This wasn't a flaw in ancient human psychology. It was an accurate read of a genuinely dangerous situation. Number 5. Night disrupted the ability to navigate and escape. Think about this. If danger did appear at night, fleeing safely became far more difficult. Uneven ground, hidden routes, unseen drop-offs turned even a simple escape attempt into a serious risk of injury. Let that sink in. Sometimes the safest response to nighttime danger wasn't running at all. It was staying still, staying quiet, and waiting for daylight to return. But wait, not every night was equally dangerous. Think about this. The moon's cycle mattered enormously to ancient humans. A bright full moon provided just enough light to see movement, judge distance, and avoid obvious hazards. Let that sink in. Many important nighttime activities, from travel to certain types of hunting, were likely timed deliberately around brighter phases of the moon. But on nights with no moon at all, when darkness became truly absolute, caution increased dramatically. Think about this. Ancient humans didn't fear night as one single uniform threat. They understood it as a spectrum. Some nights manageable, others best avoided entirely. Let that sink in. This level of environmental awareness required generations of careful observation, passed down deliberately from elder to child. But wait, night didn't only threaten the body. It disturbed the mind in another way entirely. Dreams. Think about this. Without any scientific understanding of sleep or brain activity, vivid, sometimes disturbing dreams presented a genuine mystery. Let that sink in. If waking life was shaped by real threats, it made sense to an ancient mind that dreams might reflect something equally real. Warnings from spirits, visits from the dead, glimpses of a hidden world. Think about this. Nightmares in particular may have reinforced the belief that night was a time when unseen forces held more power, reality and imagination blurring together. In the one part of the day humans could least control or explain. But wait, this fear wasn't only carried by adults. It was carefully, deliberately taught to children. Think about this. A child who wandered too far after dark, alone, without caution, represented a genuine risk to the entire group. Losing a child to a nighttime predator or a fall in the darkness was a preventable tragedy elders desperately wanted to avoid repeating. Let that sink in. Stories about nighttime monsters, evil spirits, and lurking dangers weren't only superstition. They were an early, effective form of childhood safety education. Fear, in this context, wasn't a flaw. It was a tool, carefully used to keep the most vulnerable members of the group alive until morning. But this fear of night went beyond pure physical survival. It shaped something deeper in the human mind. Think about this. Across countless ancient cultures, completely disconnected from one another, night became associated with evil spirits, dangerous gods, and malevolent forces. Let that sink in. This wasn't a coincidence. It was the human mind attempting to explain a very real, very consistent pattern. Bad things were simply more likely to happen after dark. So minds built stories to explain why. Think about this, turning an abstract danger into a named threat. A spirit, a demon, a nocturnal monster may have actually served a useful purpose. It gave people a framework for caution, a reason to stay close to the fire, a reason to avoid wandering alone once the sun went down. Let that sink in. Fear of the dark may have started as pure survival instinct, but it evolved into cultural memory, passed down as stories, warnings, and myths. But wait, not every response to night was purely defensive. But wait, we don't have to guess entirely at how seriously ancient humans treated this threat. Think about this. Archaeological evidence from several ancient campsites shows fire pits positioned deliberately, at entrances or in patterns that suggest a perimeter of light around a sleeping group. Let that sink in. This wasn't random placement. It was defensive architecture, built specifically with nighttime danger in mind. Some sites also show evidence of raised sleeping platforms, putting distance between resting humans and ground-level predators or crawling insects. Think about this. Every design choice, however small it may seem now, was shaped by a single constant pressure. Surviving the hours when sight, the sense humans depended on most, simply stopped working. Number 6. Night eventually became something else too. A space for connection. Think about this. Once fire provided reliable protection, the night sky and the hours spent awake beside a fire became one of the only times a group could simply sit together with nothing else demanding their attention. Let that sink in. Some of humanity's earliest storytelling, music, and shared reflection likely happened specifically because night forced people to stop, gather, and remain close together. The very fear that made night dangerous may have also created some of humanity's earliest social bonding. Think about this. Danger and connection growing from the exact same source. So why did ancient humans fear the night so much? Not because they misunderstood the world, but because they understood it with brutal accuracy. Reduced vision, increased predator advantage, dropping temperatures, ambiguous sounds with no way to verify their source, a weakened ability to defend, escape, or coordinate as a group. Let that sink in. Every one of these fears was a rational response to a genuinely dangerous set of conditions. Think about this. Even today, long after electric light made true darkness rare, many people still feel an unexplainable unease when walking somewhere unlit and unfamiliar. Let that sink in. That feeling isn't irrational, it's ancient. A survival instinct built over hundreds of thousands of years, still quietly running in the background, long after the predators that shaped it disappeared. Night no longer holds the same danger it once did, but somewhere deep in the human mind, it never fully stopped feeling that way.